I'm just in Japan on a bike. I've stopped at quite a nice place. The sun might be in the lens, sorry about that. I thought I'd give you an update on the bike. I've had it about getting on for 7 months, and I've used it quite a lot. I've done over 2,000 kilometers now, and I thought I'd just talk a little bit more about the bike now I've got used to it, now I'm more familiar with it. So I see there's a lot of videos on YouTube where people tell you the things they love and hate, you know, 5 things I love, 5 things I hate, or 10 things I love, 10 things I hate, that kind of video. I thought I would tell you about, I'll try 10 things. I haven't rehearsed this, I should say. This is off the cuff. I've just pulled over because I like this particular spot, and it might be a bit windy as well, by the way. It's always windy. Seems to be always windy in Japan, especially springtime. We get a lot of wind here. The weather's lovely. It's very warm today. It's a lot warmer than I expected up here in the mountains. I was expecting it to be cooler up here, so I wore my winter jeans, and I've got a bit more clothing on that I should have really for the weather. It's really it's actually a little bit hot. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. What do I love about this bike? I'll try and give 10 things. I'm not counting. Let's see if I can tell you what I love about it. So I absolutely love the handling. The handling is superb, and as I've got more confident, I've been able to lean the bike over more. Now just remember, if you see my other videos, you will know that I have come from touring bikes. I've come from a sports tourer and a full-on tourer, and one of the sports tourer was old school, so this is very much a different beast altogether. I mean, indeed the others were not beasts, but people say the styling is it's been described as, I think it's been described as crouching beast. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, it's not a bike. I certainly didn't buy this bike because of the styling. It wasn't something that attracted me to it. And that brings me on to another thing I love about the bike, which is probably the most the thing I love the most, or the most important consideration when I bought the bike, was the price. The price of this bike is absolutely phenomenally cheap for what you get. You get an amazingly good package in this bike for the price. I don't believe there's anything out there that can touch this in terms of value for money. And that was the main thing that attracted me to the bike. I did a lot of research on the internet, watched a lot of videos, read a lot of articles, read a lot of reviews, not just journalist reviews, but also reviews by owners, riders, etc. And I think this was, and not only that, when I bought it, it was on offer. They were doing a really good deal on it. It was mid-COVID crisis, and which we're still in, I suppose, but the price was absolutely slashed. I'm not really sure why the price was so cheap. It might be something to do with the end of it was the end of I don't know really, it was the end of the summer. Maybe it was because it was the end of the summer. Maybe they were selling them off cheap the end of the summer, because I did have a look on the internet again. I did have a look at the dealer prices, and they've gone up. And if you think about it, it's spring now, and it's possibly, and the weather's warmed up, it's nice. I suppose that people are out buying bikes ready for the summer, and because I bought it at the end of August, they were perhaps selling things off because they knew that they were not going to sell well in autumn with the winter approaching. That's just a theory. I don't know. If you know more about it, let me know in the comments. What else do I love about the bike? The sound. It sounds lovely. Not just the exhaust. I mean, the exhaust sounds absolutely wonderful. Now, Suzuki does have a very close relationship with Yoshimura, and I don't know whether Yoshimura has, and I know the owner of Yoshimura, I know the actual boss, the owner of the company, and I don't know, he wouldn't tell me, but I don't know whether Yoshimura actually supplied this exhaust, because you know manufacturers don't make their own parts. They buy parts in, you know, like you've got the Brembo brakes on the front, for example, you know. So I wonder whether this is in fact an unmarked Yoshimura. However, saying that, you'd think they'd want their logo on it to show you that it is a Yoshimura. So I don't know. Perhaps they gave them a slightly budget version, but it sounds absolutely wonderful, the exhaust. What I do find is that you get a very, very slight burbly, sort of almost overrun type sound or effect from the engine and the exhaust combination when you do change down or slow down suddenly from high revs, which is really lovely. And that brings me on to the engine sound as well. The engine sounds nice. Now, I'm not going to incriminate myself. I'm not going to tell you where I've done it, but I've managed to prove that the speed limiter is supposed to have a speed limiter of 180 kilometers per hour. That's for JDM, that's Japanese domestic models. However, according to my speedo, that is not true. So I'm not going to complain about that. I'm quite happy about that. I can say that I have, according to the speedo, it's a digital speedo. According to the speedo, I've been up to 228 kilometers per hour, according to the speedo. Now, when you get up to that kind of speed and those kind of sustained revs, the engine has this orgasmic whine about it. It's just unbelievable. It's a real eargasm, and it's a real thrill. And I would say the bike is very steady at that kind of speed. You do need to lean right over, of course. I think once you get to speeds above about 150 kilometers per hour, you need to really lean right over with your chest on the tank and your head tucked down behind the screen. Not just for wind, but I think that's a safety issue as well. I'm not a sports bike rider. Well, if you can call this a sports bike, I am now, but I haven't come from any kind of sports bike. So this is my first ever sports bike, if that's what you want to call it. It's been referred to as a sports tourer, and I think that using the word tourer for this bike is plain wrong. There's nothing about this bike that says tourer, and the fact that there's no luggage available for it. I mean, you can get some aftermarket soft panniers apparently, but there's no proper luggage available for this, so you would not use this for touring. This is really, I heard somebody describe it as a soft sports bike. I think that would be a good description of this bike, a soft sports bike. I think this is a sports bike for people that do not want the discomfort of a sports bike. I think this is a bike for people who do not want to be putting a lot of weight on their wrists. I think this is a bike for people that want the power and the performance for occasional use, but they also want the comfort and the practicality and the comfortable riding position. So it's sort of like, if you want to call it a tourer, you could go touring on it. I think it would be comfortable enough. There's been talk about the seat, or I'll say the seats because the pillion seat, well, that will be in my list of things I don't like about it, or I should say, when I do make a list of things I don't like about it, that's going to be really not so much I don't like, it's going to be also disadvantages of the bike, because there's not very much to dislike about this bike. The seat, people say, I've seen videos, I've seen descriptions of the seat. It's a very mixed opinion about the seat, depending on whose video you watch, whose review you read. I find the seat fine, nothing wrong with it at all. Some people say it's hard. No, not at all. I feel that it's perfect for me. Yeah, it's not a touring seat, no, but I find the seat absolutely fine. I don't get numb bum, I don't get any aches or pains from it, so no problem at all there. And what else do I like about it? Well, talking about you know, the top speed that I've got to so far, the speed I've managed to get out of this bike, I would say that the performance, the sheer thrill of it, the acceleration, and the power delivery, the torque is incredible on this bike. And I have to commend Suzuki for an absolutely amazing work of engineering. It is unbelievable for the money. And you know, it's supposedly well, I mean, it's well documented that this bike is it uses the old GSX-R engine from 2005, the so-called K5 engine. Okay, I'm afraid I didn't know that until I saw reviews and read about it, and I'm not familiar with the GSX-R 1000 to ride, that is. I am aware of it, of course. It's a legendary bike. I'm familiar with the reputation. So what else do I like about it? So it looks like I'm being joined by some road workers, so I need to end the video. What else do I like about it? Well, I think the fuel economy is great. I think it's very, very good fuel economy. And I don't know that the onboard computer is telling me the truth. I don't think so, because it's given me figures that are just absolutely hard to believe. The only way to do it is to fill up the tank to the top, go for a ride, and then measure the distance and the amount of fuel you've used, like that. That's the only way to do it, and do calculations based on that. You can't go by the computer. Right, I need to finish this video because the roadworks are about to start here, so I need to be on my merry way. So this video was a very short, brief video about things I like about this bike, and I'll do another part to this video because I need to get going now. This is just in Japan on a bike.